colonization of South Africa. The three topics we will be discussing today are the 5 Ws, the treatment of people, and the impact of historical globalization. The 5 Ws. Who? The colonization of South Africa included the indigenous people of South Africa and the European colonizers, which were the British and the Dutch. What? The Europeans decided to colonize South Africa because of its resources and its people. When? South Africa was first colonized by the Netherlands in 1652. Then the British took over the Cape in 1795. It was returned to the Dutch in 1803, who then gave it back to the British 3 years later. Where? South Africa is located at the southern tip of Africa and is bordered by countries such as Botswana and Zimbabwe, and is the 25th largest country in the world. Why? South Africa was a rich country in resources like diamonds, gold, crops, rubber, cotton, cocoa, and slaves. The Europeans wanted to colonize it because they thought these resources would be beneficial to them. And South Africa was also seen as a sort of pit stop when traveling a trade route to India.
Treatment of people. The European settlers took away a lot of land from the indigenous people and used it for farming. They also used the indigenous people as slaves and abused them. The slaves were sent to Europe and America. After slavery was banned, slaves became harder to obtain and their value went up, which led to better treatment of slaves. Impact of treatment on identity. Since the indigenous people were sent elsewhere around the world as slaves, they lost their original identity, which caused a lot of cultural diversity among the slaves. As the enslaved people were mistreated and abused, a lot of them died. Big oof. Impacts of treatment on society. There was conflict between the indigenous people and the Europeans, and many people died due to malnutrition and mistreatment that the Europeans enforced on the Africans. Impact of historical globalization. Racism in Africa did not end after colonization. Apartheid policies were adopted shortly after. Apartheid was banned by Nelson Mandela in 1994. South Africa's government was mainly composed of white members until the revolution. Legacies and the response to the legacies. South Africa, along with the rest of Africa, suffered economically because of the lack of resources due to imperialism. The government was corrupted and left unstable, and many people protested for democracy and color rights, but it wasn't until Nelson Mandela's actions that helped reform the government.